In the United States, the concept of bail is deeply rooted in the Constitution, especially the Eighth Amendment, which prohibits excessive bail and ensures that most people accused of crimes have a fair opportunity to secure temporary freedom while awaiting trial. But what many people don't realize is that the US does not operate on a simple bailable versus non-bailable category system like some other countries do. Instead, bail decisions depend on a mix of factors, including the severity of the charge, the defendant's criminal history, the risk of flight, the danger posed to the community, and specific state-by-state laws. Yet there are certain offenses and situations where bail is typically denied, effectively functioning as non-bailable cases. In most jurisdictions across the United States, the general rule is that misdemeanors crimes like petty theft, disorderly conduct, simple assault, vandalism, or driving without a license are usually bailable, meaning the defendant can post a bond or be released on recognizance because the law considers them low risk and less serious. The same applies to many non-violent felonies such as fraud, embezzlement, forgery, burglary without a weapon, drug possession, property crimes, and other offenses where the accused is not considered an immediate threat to public safety. In these cases, judges typically set bail conditions that ensure the defendant will attend court, and sometimes they grant supervised release or release on recognizance when the accused has strong community ties. However, bail becomes more restrictive and can even be denied when dealing with serious violent felonies or situations where the defendant is considered a high-risk individual. Across the US, the closest category to non-bailable offenses generally includes crimes such as capital murder, especially when prosecutors may seek the death penalty, aggravated murder, terrorism-related offenses, major drug trafficking involving large quantities and cartel-level operations, sexual assault involving serious bodily harm, kidnapping, armed robbery with a firearm, violent repeat offender cases, and any situation where the judge believes the defendant poses a significant threat to the community. In many states, judges can legally deny bail when the accused is charged with a crime punishable by life imprisonment or death, because the potential punishment is so severe that the defendant is considered an extreme flight risk. For example, in many jurisdictions, someone charged with first-degree murder, capital murder, or felony murder may be held without bail if the evidence is strong, and even if bail is allowed, it may be set at extremely high levels. Another major category where bail can be denied includes violent offenses involving firearms, such as shooting incidents, attempted murder, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, or armed carjacking, because judges prioritize public safety. Additionally, many states allow bail denial in domestic violence cases when there is clear evidence that releasing the defendant could lead to further harm to the victim, especially when restraining orders are involved or the accused has a prior history of abuse. Along with that, offenses involving sexual violence, such as rape, child sexual abuse, human trafficking, child pornography production, or sexual assault with force, often come with strict bail conditions. And in some cases, bail may be denied entirely if the court believes the accused is a predator who poses an ongoing threat. Another category that functions like non-bailable includes serious federal offenses because federal courts operate differently from state courts under the Bail Reform Act of 1984. Under this law, defendants charged with crimes like large-scale drug trafficking, major financial crimes, interstate kidnapping, federal terrorism charges, crimes involving explosives, or violent crimes with mandatory minimum sentences may be held without bail if prosecutors demonstrate that no set of conditions can guarantee public safety or appearance in court. This means that while the word non-bailable isn't commonly used in American legal language, the result is the same. Certain crimes lead to detention without the option of release. Additionally, bail can be denied not only based on the type of offense but also on the behavior or history of the defendant. For example, individuals with a record of failing to appear in court, those with ongoing criminal charges, repeat offenders with escalating violence, people on probation or parole who commit new crimes, or defendants who attempt to intimidate witnesses or obstruct justice are often held without bail because judges believe they cannot be trusted to follow release conditions. In many states, a defendant may also be denied bail if they were arrested while already out on bail for another case, because this signals disregard for the court's trust. Furthermore, some modern bail reforms in states like New York, California and New Jersey have changed the landscape. Some states have eliminated cash bail for low-level offenses, while others have expanded judges' authority to detain dangerous defendants without bail, creating a new category known as preventive detention, which applies primarily to violent crimes. When it comes to immigration-related cases, individuals held by federal immigration authorities can also be detained without bond under specific circumstances, especially if they have criminal convictions or are considered flight risks. On the other hand, bailable offenses in the United States cover a wide variety of crimes, including most misdemeanors, most non-violent felonies, minor drug offenses, shoplifting, trespassing, cyber offenses without violence, credit card fraud, financial crimes, and low-level property damage. And in many of these cases, the court may grant release on recognizance instead of requiring cash bail. It's also important to note that bail does not mean freedom without consequences. Defendants released on bail must follow strict conditions, such as attending all court hearings, avoiding new criminal activity, complying with restraining orders, checking in with pretrial services, passing drug tests, surrendering passports, or wearing GPS monitoring devices depending on the case. Failure to follow these conditions can result in immediate arrest and permanent loss of bail. Ultimately, the key point is that while the U.S. system does not operate with a formal bail versus non-bail list, in practice there are clear patterns. Minor offenses are usually bailable. Serious violent crimes often result in detention, and the most dangerous or higher-risk cases lead to bail denial entirely, showing how American courts balance individual rights with public safety in determining who stays in custody and who is allowed temporary freedom before trial.